Can we really talk about Judaism or Jews before there was a Judah? How is it possible for Abraham to be a Jew if there was no Judaism in the time of Abraham, or for Moses for that matter? The people of Israel were so diverse. There was such a rich variety of Israelite people, expressing different things, believing different things, practicing different things, that it is very difficult to identify one common feature to them all. One thing, however, in my mind that sticks out is the idea of being related in a specific way to the God Yahweh. The covenant between God and the people of Israel may be the only thing that is characteristic of all the Israelite people. They didn't share the same scriptures, they didn't all worship in the same place, they didn't have the same attitude towards Jerusalem or the land of Judea, they didn't all live in the same culture, the same territory, but they did all have this self-consciousness of being related to the God Yahweh in a particular and intimate way. One of the differences between our world and the ancient world is that in our world, people are organized in nation states. This was not the case in the time of ancient Egypt, the time of ancient Israel, or the time of Jesus. There were no nation states until the 19th and 20th centuries, and the idea of the nation state is an import from Europe, from the United States, to the modern Near East. Today, when we expropriate the narratives of the Old Testament, in this modern setting, they take on a nationalistic tone that they did not have in their original context.
Well, some of the stories that we've read and understood only in one way, from one perspective, there is so much more to wrestle with. What does it mean to understand that maybe things weren't as bad as they were in Egypt for the Israelites, that maybe they were motivated by something different to leave? They're still living out that story here. And people are still getting hurt.
First, after Exodus from Egypt, children of Israel are coming back to their promised land, to Canaan. And here they find the Canaanites. And they are fighting the Canaanites. And they get a divine order: this is your land, fight the Canaanites. It is very interesting that the sages, the rabbis, post-biblical rabbis, they interpreted the Bible, the order of the Bible, the order of Moses to Joshua, fight the Canaanites and kill them all. The rabbis interpreted it: don't kill them, but rather offer them three options, according to the rabbis. First option: you can stay in your places, but stop worshipping idols and accept the sovereignty of the Jewish people on the land of Israel, on the land of Canaan. First option. Second option: you can go. If you don't want to fight, I'm not going to touch you. Take everything you want and go. Go to Syria, go to Egypt, go to Iraq, go to Saudi. A lot of oil in Saudi, plenty of place, plenty of land. Go. And only the third option was: if you want to fight, fight. But in this war, we are going to be very tough with you. Because the result of this war must be that you will not remain in this land. Either you are killed or you are expelled.
The typical image of the relationship between Christianity and Judaism, the root and the flower, the parent and the child, expresses what I think is a mistaken understanding that Judaism preceded Christianity and Christianity grew out of it. In fact, I think that Christianity and Judaism both emerged from the same from the roots of the same plant that was embedded in the same cultural, theological, spiritual soil, and that the division between what became called Judaism and what became called Christianity occurred not before the end of the first century. And we'll talk about this more later. There's only one place in all extant first century literature, whether it's Latin, Hebrew, Greek, or any other language, where a word occurs that can be translated as Judaism. What exactly was Jesus' religion? I prefer to refer to it as Israelite religion. Some people use the term Hebrew religion. Some people refer to it as Judaism. It is, however, very, very different than what we today think of as Judaism, and I'm not sure that it's helpful to use a word with modern, contemporary referent for an ancient phenomenon. Ancient Israelite religion, the religion of Jesus, is very complex. The people who were called Israel were a very diverse group. One of the usual ways in which they are identified is by their practice of worship in Jerusalem. But the Qumran community, who are usually included in the family of Israelites, did not worship in Jerusalem. The Samaritans, who considered themselves Israelite, had their own worship center on Mount Gerizim in modern-day Nablus, ancient Shechem. Consider, for example, that in the Gospels, the words Judaios and Judaioi, which are the Greek words that are usually translated in English as Jew and Jews, are never applied to Jesus except by people who are not Israelites themselves. The Magi come from the east looking for the king of the Judaioi. Pilate asks Jesus, "Are you the king of the Judaioi?" Even when Paul is self-identifying, he never refers to himself as a Jew. He refers to himself as an Israelite, as a Hebrew, as a member of the tribe of Benjamin, as a Pharisee, but never as a Jew. I wonder if that's significant, and I wonder if we haven't overused the term Jew and Judean for people that didn't use the term themselves. And let's not forget that Islam shares the same cultural soil, the same theological roots with Judaism and Christianity.
In the pilgrimage, it's almost like 2 weeks. Muslims go to Saudi, first to Mecca, second.
Islam shares the idea that there is one God. It shares a reverence for the figures of the Old and New Testaments, and especially for Jesus, who is mentioned more often in the Quran than Muhammad is. In Islam, at the end time, Muhammad is not the one who comes back. Jesus will come back. The idea of Exodus we usually exclusively associate with Judaism or Israelite religion, but actually it figures prominently in Islam as well. Muslims date their calendar from the Exodus of Muslims, the party that developed around Muhammad, from Mecca to Medina. The Hijrah, the Exodus, is the event in the life of the Prophet Muhammad, which serves as the beginning of the Muslim calendar, which is still in effect today in Muslim countries all over the world. So even the idea of Exodus is not unique to Israelite religion or Judaism or Christianity.